Welcome back, everybody, and thank you for joining us on episode 11 of The Mind. We are on a bye week last week because people got new jobs and people are employed now. We got to figure out hours how to do the video. So we just took last week off and figured it all out. So we're back this week. We got 2 weeks of stuff to kind of talk about. We're not going to cover everything, but we got some big NBA news, big college basketball. College football is absolutely nuts this year. We got some wrestling. Survivor Series just happened Sunday, so we're going to talk about that. And of course, NFL. As always, so here we go. Thank you for watching. All right, so on the last episode of The Mind, dealing with college football, the top four was Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Clemson. Well, in this last 2 weeks, there's crazy stuff that's happened in the college football world, and the new top four is Alabama, Miami, Clemson, and Oklahoma, with Wisconsin at number 5, who is still undefeated and will probably go on to beat Ohio State in the championship game for their conference. So, playoff started today. That would be your top 4 teams: Clemson, Miami, Alabama, and Oklahoma. You know, Baker Mayfield, is he the Heisman Trophy winner? He's a candidate, but will he go on to win it? We will see. Miami, I think they will. Miami and Clemson, they will eventually play an ACC championship game. That's going to be a huge game and have huge ramifications when it comes to college football because you got 2 undefeated teams, and if one of those lose an ACC championship game, does that bump up Wisconsin if they win into the top 4? And then also you got Alabama and Auburn this Saturday in the Iron Bowl, 1 versus 5, and whoever wins that, probably goes on to the SEC championship game and play Georgia. And then it's just crazy from there. And then all kind of crazy stuff can happen. And then who knows what his college playoff committee will do. So we'll look at it more next week as we go towards the conference championship games. And here's a look at your college top 25 on your next slide. And on this Mind's Game of the Week in college football, we're going to look at the Iron Bowl, which I just spoke on. We have Alabama, number 1, versus Auburn. Huge rivalry. This goes back years. Records really don't matter when it comes to this, but Auburn is 9-2. The winner of this game goes on to the SEC championship game and goes against Georgia. And probably the winner of that SEC championship game will definitely be, even with Auburn at 2 losses, if they go on to beat Alabama, I would still probably put them into the college football playoffs. But who knows? We'll see. I am going to take Alabama 28-24. And that is your Mind's Game of the Week in this week's college football. All right, now to move on to some college basketball this week. A huge tournament of some huge teams in it. Historically great teams. The PK80 tournament, the Phil Knight Invitational. First time they're doing it this year, and they have some huge names. They have Carolina. You already know. They also have Puke. That school from Durham. Michigan State, Oregon, UConn, who's historically pretty good. And I think this is really good for college basketball because this is, kind of like an AAU style tournament where you play every day, you win, you keep on going, you lose, you go to loser's bracket. And what is really intriguing about this is they have Carolina and Duke on opposite sides of the bracket. So this could possibly mean that potentially Duke and Carolina could play up to 4 or 5 times this year if they meet in a championship game in the PK. You got the 2 regular season games that you always play, and then you got the ACC tournament at the end of the year where they could meet up. They haven't met up in a championship game in a long time in the ACC tournament, but it's possible. And, of course, what would be the biggest game ever would be Carolina versus that school in Durham in the national championship game. So, yeah, they could possibly play 5 times this year. I like when they only play twice because it stresses me out every time they play. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of this tournament. Carolina already won a couple games. Duke won a game. Michigan State won, so it looks like it's going to be Carolina versus Michigan State. So yeah, good tournament. There's some other tournaments around, but this one is the biggest one of the year so far. So yeah, that's your update on your college basketball. And There you go. And here's a look at your top 25 for college basketball. All right, so on every episode of The Mind, we gave you the winner of the previous week's NASCAR race, and we gave you the playoff update every week. So NASCAR playoffs are now over, and Martin Truex Jr. is your NASCAR champion this year. He went on to not only win the championship this past weekend at Miami, but he also won the race, which is really cool and all that good stuff. And what's kind of cool about it is he's from New Jersey. I have a lot of family in New Jersey. I actually raced at the racetrack a few times where my uncle races. Shout out to the Rooster, Go 60X at Wall Stadium up there in New Jersey. So NASCAR is done for the year, but February brings on the best race of the year, the Daytona 500. So I'm really looking forward to that and hoping that Kevin Harvick goes on to win a championship maybe next year, even in the last 4 this year. And also, this was Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s last year as a full-time competitor when it came to running a full schedule. So, a son of a legend. He's retired, or partially retired. He'll run a few races here and there, but he had a great career. Won 20-something, 30 races. Never won a championship, but he's still, the most popular driver probably ever outside of his father, Richard Petty, when it came to NASCAR. One of the most NASCAR's most popular driver, like 15 years in a row, I believe it was. So, thank you, Dale Earnhardt Jr., for the memories, and look forward to seeing you in the booth announcing the races, and good luck forward going with all your stuff. So that's your NASCAR update. We'll see you next year at the Daytona 500. Also, this past weekend, WWE had their Survivor Series pay-per-view, and man, let me tell you, it was great. It was awesome. I thought it could actually be a little bit better than what it was, but I was overall happy with it. Let's look at the matches. The first one, the Shield versus the New Day, probably match of the night, definitely my match of the night. Going in, I definitely thought the Shield would definitely win. But there for a second, the match was so good, I actually thought the New Day had a chance. So that was pretty cool. Some big spots, good moments, great match overall. The Shield winning with their powerbomb, their patented triple man powerbomb off the top rope to Kobe Kingston, winning the match for the Shield. Let's take a look at the women's matchup, elimination match. Asuka went ham on everybody. She kicked ass and pretty much won the match for Raw. And they did win. I thought the matchup was great. Could have been a little bit better. Some flaky moments there with Alicia Fox getting pinned, but she wasn't down. So it's kind of flaky or whatever, but it's cool. Good matchup. The tag team matchup was The Bar, Cesaro, and Sheamus versus the Uso brothers. Great matchup. The Usos went on to win. Good matchup. Could have been better, but good matchup. Charlotte Flair versus Alexa Bliss. Good. They also had a couple miscues there with a big boot at the end, kind of missing completely. But other than that, Charlotte won. I don't think this hurts Alexa at all. And some things that happened the next day on Raw. Paige is back with 2 other chicks, so Raw is stacked when it comes to women things, with the women matchups with Asuka and now Paige and Alexa Bliss and all them, top wrestlers there in the women's division. AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar. At first, it was a massacre. Brock Lesnar was a suplex sitting him out of everywhere. It was just bad for AJ Styles, but he proved why he is the best in wrestling today. And it was just a great, great matchup. This, AJ Styles almost had him. WWE guys again. I almost thought he was gonna win, even though we knew Brock Lesnar was gonna win. AJ Styles put on such a good show that I thought he was gonna win there just for a second. Then he got caught with the phenomenal forearm into the F5. 1, 2, 3. Excuse me. Brock Lesnar wins the match. Then at the end of the night, we had an elimination match with the men, SmackDown versus Raw. Raw won. You gotta forgive me, I have a little bit of a cold, so I might be coughing throughout the episode today. But yeah, SmackDown versus Raw, great matchup. We had a Finn Balor versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Thing going on there is some good moments, good spots with Triple H and all his NXT buddies, or the people he brought into the NXT. So good moments there at the end. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came in and beat up Shane McMahon. Then he beat them up a little bit. And then at the end of the match, Kurt Angle had him. And then Triple H turned on Kurt Angle, pedigreed him, then picked up Shane McMahon, threw him on there. 1, 2, 3. Kurt Angle eliminated. And then he pedigreed Shane McMahon and won the matchup. But after the matchup, what the main thing was Braun Strowman just beating up Triple H there. So it was good. And, yeah, just overall great pay-per-view, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've actually watched it once, actually 2 times now. It was actually that good, and I'm looking forward to, you know, we're almost at the Royal Rumble, and we're going into what they call WrestleMania season. So I'm looking forward to that. Some big matchups coming up here in the next couple months. So, yeah, that's your little bit of a WWE update. And, yeah, good time. I enjoyed it. So, there you go. Survivor Series, good time. All right, now to move on to the NBA. Last time we spoke on the NBA, Cleveland was way down in the standings, and Orlando was on the top of the standings. Now, it's kind of reversed. Orlando's been on a losing streak. They're now only 8-10, and Cleveland has won now 7 in a row to improve their record to 11-7. So we got some winning streaks going on there. Got some losing streaks going on down in Orlando. The Hornets, they're on a big winning streak right now in 3 games in a row after they lost 4 in a row. And then the Celtics have lost for the first time since Kyrie told that fan to suck his you-know-what. So I don't see them losing too many games in a row, though, because Boston's pretty decent, pretty strong, real strong team. On the Western Conference side, Houston's running the show out there at 14-4, and Golden State already has 5 losses. And then, you know, Oklahoma City, they're starting to get it back together. I think the 3, Carmelo, PG-13, and Russell Westbrook, they're starting to gel together a little bit more than they were earlier in the season. And you watched the game the other night with Oklahoma City and, Golden State. There we go. I'm going crazy there for a second. The intensity in that game and the intensity in Russell Westbrook is amazing. That's why he would be my #1 draft pick if I was picking a player out of the NBA. Just because I love his intensity, and him and KD got face-to-face. It was awesome. And, you know, we're getting a little bit deeper now into the NBA season. We're coming up on some Christmas Day basketball. Got some good games coming up in December here. So we'll join us next week, and we'll go over more of it, more in depth, because we're trying to get more into the NBA now that NASCAR is gone and the NFL is winding down. So we'll be getting more into NBA here in the next couple of weeks. And here are your top 5 fantasy football scores for Week 11. Number 1, Antonio Brown had 10 catches, 144 yards, and 3 touchdowns, totaling 43 fantasy football points. Keenan Allen, Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver, 12 catches, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns, to total 40 fantasy football points. Keenan Stills, another wide receiver, 3 in a row this week, and this is a first-time player on this year's list, had 7 catches, 180 yards, and a touchdown to go with 31 fantasy football points. Russell Wilson, quarterback of the Seattle Seahawks, went 26-42, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception to go along with 7 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown, totaling 30 fantasy football points. And to round out the top 5 this week, Big Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers went 30-45, 299 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 1 rush for 10 yards, totaling 29 fantasy football points. And here are your top 5 fantasy pickups for Week 12. Corey Coleman, receiver to Cleveland Browns, had an injury at the beginning of the year, former first-round draft pick. Came back last week looking relatively well. He's only owned about 20% of all leagues, so pick him up if you can. Another wide receiver who cracked our top 5 fantasy scorers last week, Kenny Stills of the Miami Dolphins. Tyrod Taylor of the Buffalo Bills got dropped last week as a starter, but now he is a starter again once in Buffalo. And with his mobility and his arm strength, he's a dangerous player when it comes to fantasy football points. Devontae Booker, running back of the Denver Broncos. Yes, it is a running back of committee with C.J. Anderson and Jamal Charles, but Booker last week kind of took over the game with 14 carries, and he had 5 catches out of the backfield as well. Josh Dotson, receiver to Washington Redskins. Excuse me, no. We're going to go with Damian Williams, running back to the Miami Dolphins. Him and Kenyon Drake are teaming up with the backfield after Jay Ajayi, and it looks like to be a good 1-2 combination. He's only owning about 30% of all leagues. Another running back from the New England Patriots, Ray Burkhead. He will be coming off, taking over once Deion Lewis comes off the field, and he looks to improve on his game from last week, and he's only owning about 42% of all leagues. And here are your top 5 matchups for Week 12. Tom Brady, Tom Terrific. He's going against Miami this week. Miami has given up huge numbers in the air against quarterbacks. Play him if you got him. Cam Newton, another quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. He's going against the Jets this week. Jets are giving up big numbers to quarterbacks as well. And with Cam's mobility, that will help him out, getting him some numbers and fantasy football points. At running back, we got the man himself, Le'Veon Bell. Pittsburgh going against Green Bay. Green Bay is giving up big numbers to running backs this year. Also, to play LaShawn McCoy, running back of the Buffalo Bills, going against Kansas City. Kansas City has a pretty decent defense, but they're actually giving up big numbers against the run. And to round out your top 5 matchups for Week 12, I am going to go with another Pittsburgh Steeler, Antonio Brown. They call him all day for no reason. They call him all day for a reason. I see him at least getting 2 touchdowns this week against Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. Alright, what's up everybody? Once again, welcome to the segment Squad Up. Today we are joined on the phone by one of my brothers, Georgia. Georgia, how you doing today?
What's good, man? I'm chilling, man. You already know what it is.
Yeah, already know. Hey, have a good Thanksgiving, yes or no? Did you have a good Thanksgiving, yes or no?
Oh man, it was awesome, bro. It was great, bro. The turkey put your boy to sleep.
I believe it. Alright, so Georgia, you're a follower, so you know how this goes. Squad up. Who is your favorite NFL team?
Squad, you already know what it is. The Cincinnati Bengals all day, every day. Free Andy. God dang red rifle over here with AJ Green. All right, so you're a Bengals fan. I don't know very many Bengal fans, especially from down south. Yeah, we're rare breed, bro.
Rare breed. I understand that all the way. Rare breed. What made you become a Cincinnati Bengals fan?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this. When I was young, I was about 10 years old, man. Totally honest. Like, I fell in love with their jerseys first, and then it's always something about the underdog. Bro. It's like we had Corey Dillon running the ball, running people over, but we just couldn't win.
Just couldn't get over that hump. But that's actually talking to some Bengals fans. I agree. They have the best uniforms, or one of the best uniforms, definitely in the NFL. So yeah, I actually talked to a couple Bengals fans the 1 or 3 of them that I know, and that's always seems to be the case. Is I like them because they're jerseys.
Too bad you can't win Super Bowls off of how good you look.
Right. If that was the case, y'all might win every year. All right, so record this year. What is y'all's record this year?
Our record, I believe, at this point we are 4-7 right now.
4-7. How
it's not good, man. It's this is what happens when you don't re-sign your guard, your right guard, your Pro Bowl left tackle. That's what happens when you lose those guys. Key pieces. We can't run the ball for nothing. And Andy only has so much time in the pocket.
Yeah, offense line definitely in trouble for these guys. From what I'm observing, Joe Mixon, you keeping him around? You think he's going to be legit?
Good young talent, man. Good running back. Like it's a shame what happened to Gio. Gio really was the back for us, but like we picked up Jeremy Hill and tried to get the 1-2 going with him, and that's not working out. He's a fumble machine. But Joe Mixon, that's a good talent. The only issue I really have with him, he does a little bit too much when he should just run downhill. But still a good back. We just need an offensive line
surprising. That actually did surprise me the way he kind of dances around. Considering when he was in college, he used to just run over people. He was just a monster in college. So, Marvin Lewis, is he done? You're all right. You're okay. Okay, let me stick a fork in him.
Stick a fork in him. Get him out of here.
All right. Okay, let's see this. I asked our last guest on Squad Up the same question. All right, you got your dream job. You're the GM. You have all the decision making when it comes to the Bengals. You already said you're finding your head coach. What position you going with your first round draft pick? It'll probably be pretty high pick. So where are you going?
To be honest, bro, you gotta start from the ground up. So I'm rebuilding the offensive line, bro. We have the talent. We have the talent in the air with AJ Green. Andy Dalton is not a bad quarterback. He's pretty good. He's not elite, but he's decent enough to win you a playoff game to get you to the championship. And all we need really is that offensive line to hold up. If you look at us back in the past, the last couple of years when we were going to the playoffs, we had good offensive line play and we was running the ball.
All right, cool. A couple more questions for you, and I'm gonna let you go, Mr. GM Georgia, aka Carolina Mike of the Bengals. All right, what would you do on the other side of the ball there? You have a guy, you know who I'm about to say, perfect, who just likes to kill people on the field. Me, I'm the GM. I love the way he plays, love the intensity, but at a certain point, you got to cut ties with a guy that's going to hurt you in every single game. What are you doing with him?
I'm gonna say it like this, bro. He plays like a man possessed, and he plays past the whistle. He plays through the whistle. He's late. I'll be the first to say, I'm a Bengals fan. He's dirty, but when he's not dirty, he's destroying the running back, destroying the quarterback. And if you notice, if you look back in the past video, the refs put their hands on him. They already got an idea about him before he steps out on the field. So it's hard to play like that. Yeah,
I do agree with you on that. I think the refs are kind of out to get him at a certain point, but he brought that upon himself. Me,
at some point it becomes a problem.
Yeah, me, I would love to keep a guy around like that, around just because the intensity he brings. In football, you got to have that one guy that will do that on every team. So I'm keeping around, but come next year, I tell him, like, man, if you cost us games, you're on your last straw. I think.
I say it like this, man. He only got so much, bro. Like nobody's gonna really want to pick Perfect up, man. Like he's stuck with us for life.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, man. My Cowboys, you know how we like the criminals and the bad guys. So if y'all let them go, heck, we'll take them. I mean, we can't get any worse. We're terrible without Zeke. So.
The Cowboys all right, man.
Yeah, we'll be all right. Thank God for the Panthers. That's all I'm saying.
Y'all trade us bids, we'll give you Perfect.
What is new? What is new? GM, you have done a bad job in a trade block today, Mr. GM Jordan. All right, I got one more question for you. After this year, you already said you're taking a tackle or you're taking an offensive lineman and stuff like that. You already said you're a believer in Andy Dalton. You already said Marvin Jones is gone. One more thing you would do. What's the main thing you think besides those things that could turn your team around to be, a playoff team like they were the last 5 years next year?
Man, to be totally honest, I think it's the offensive line on a defense, man. If we just add if we get another safety, man. I kind of want that. I want that guy out of Alabama, man. Roll Tide. That guy. I need that guy out of Alabama. That safety. I can't remember his name right now.
Kirkpatrick or something like that, I think. Something like that. Fitzpatrick, yeah. Kirkpatrick was the corner from a couple years ago, I think, or last year. So, all right. Hey, well, Georgia, I highly appreciate you there, Carolina Mike. Thank you for joining us this week on Squad Up.
Appreciate it. Colts suck, man. Always and forever.
Always and forever. Down with the Colts. I hope to get you on here one week before the season with the picks. Get you on here with me, my dad, and Seville. All that good stuff. So, but until next time, man, I definitely appreciate you, brother.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call, man. When you ball, you get the call.
Any ball, you get the call. All right. I will see you next time, brother.
Yeah.
Later. All right, and there you have it. That was Carolina Mike, a.k.a. Georgia, a.k.a. Fat Mike, whatever you want to call him, on Squad Up. So, yeah, there you go. Good episode. And remember to like, comment, and share, and maybe we'll give you a call next week. There you go. Squad Up. All right, now it's time to take a look at the NFC playoff picture. The number one seed right now, you got the 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles, followed by Minnesota, New Orleans, the LA Rams, the Carolina Panthers, and Atlanta. Those two teams taking the final two wildcard spots at the moment. Carolina 7-3. They look to be strong. I think they will end up winning that division, NFC South. They got another game of the Saints, and I think the Saints are going to take another 2 losses, and I think the Panthers will end up winning the division. If not, they'll take the wild card. Atlanta, I still don't think they'll make the playoffs because I believe Seattle, even though I predicted both the teams out of the playoffs, I think Seattle will take that spot from them, even though Atlanta has a tiebreaker against them. But, who knows? Atlanta could take it out, and, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up in the playoffs. It's just, they're kind of coming back from that little Super Bowl slump they had at the beginning of the year. Following them teams, you got Green Bay still in the hunt without Aaron Rodgers. So if he comes back and he gets on a roll, watch out. Just, Aaron Rodgers, Aaron, that's a bad man. So they can make a run if he does come back. And then you got Dallas and Washington. I think Dallas without Zeke is done. And I'm saying that as a fan. I think we're just done. If we go on a run, great. If not, just sit Zeke for the rest of the year and move on the next year. So yeah, that's your NFC playoff picture at the moment. And, I believe this year, the NFC conference is better by far than the AFC. Because everybody in the playoffs right now for the NFC has a winning record above 500, and Baltimore is sitting there in the AFC at 5-5. That's okay. So yeah, that's your NFC playoff picture. All right, we're now in week 11 of the NFL season. Only 6 weeks left after this upcoming Sunday. And so let's take a quick look at the playoff picture here. At number 1 seed, you got Pittsburgh. Number 2 seed, you got New England, Jacksonville, Kansas City with the 4, Tennessee, and then rounding out with the 6th spot in the wild card is Baltimore. Now, beneath those teams, you got Buffalo, the Chargers, and Miami all sitting there at 4 and 6. Now, Baltimore is 5-5 in the wild card right now, so it's a wide open race between those teams. The AFC kind of disappointing us here. Usually the AFC has a lot of like 3-loss teams, something like that at this point in time. But there's a lot of 5-loss teams, 4-loss teams, 6-loss teams still in the hunt. So it's going to be exciting. I think that the 6 teams that are in there now will eventually be the ones that are in the playoffs, except for the Chargers. The Chargers, I believe, Chargers and the Bills have the best chance of taking those final 2 playoff seeds. The wild card from Baltimore, and just because the Chargers are on a roll, Phillip Rivers is on fire. Absolutely destroyed the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day game. That was 3 games in a row with them. And the Bills, they're back up last week, but they're going back to Tyrod Taylor this week. So I'm expecting them to be kind of up for the game. They got their boy back, got their quarterback back in Tyrod Taylor. Not sure why the coaching decision switched them with Perriman, but it is what it is. But if the Bills and Chargers, I think they have a chance to take that final spot from Baltimore. But, that Baltimore defense is really good, and their offense is starting to click a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see the AFC playoff picture in the next week or two. And about week 14, man, it's going to be crazy the next couple of weeks, man. And this is why football is so great, because you just know any given Sunday, anything can happen. And, man, I was looking forward to the last couple of weeks of it. And, I'm sad that's going to be ending here soon, but it's all good. And that's your AFC playoff picture. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Picks. As you can see here, I am no longer your world champion of Weekly Picks. I have been defeated for the first time all year. Back in Week 10, we didn't do an episode last week, so back in Week 10, this guy right here, he became the champ. It's all good because I'll get my back.
Yeah, I'm doing Nelson does.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna get my belt back this week and become your 2-time champion. And it's all gonna be gravy. Here we go. Weekly picks. And since David's at work right now and he ain't the man behind the camera, I gotta introduce the teams. I'm looking at my phone, so I'm looking down. That's why. First up, your 7-3 Carolina Panthers at your 4-6 New York Jets. Hey, champ, you're a champ now. You go first.
The champ is speaking. The champ is here. So we got Panthers and who we got? We got the Panthers and the Jets. Okay, I'm gonna go Panthers on this one, man. Jets obviously offensively have been struggling. They don't really have a quarterback situation in the works right now, so they're still struggling in that position. Obviously, that's a key role to a successful offense. So I'm gonna go Panthers on this one, man. Defense gonna shut them down.
Yep, Panthers defense one of the best in the NFL, and Cam Newton has his dog back. His best friend, his best receiver on the team is our tight end. Greg Olsen is back, so I'm gonna take the Panthers this one. Keep pounding. Next up, we got the Buccaneers visiting the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take the upset here. Well, I guess is upset. I'm gonna take the Buccaneers without Jameis Winston, just because I just got a gut feeling. Buccaneers been playing good the last week or so, so I'm gonna take the Bucks over the Falcons.
I'm gonna go Falcons on this one, man. I think they got some creaks and wrinkles they got out of that offense and moving the ball a little better last week. And I just don't think the Buccaneers without Winston put up much of a chance. So I'm gonna go Falcons.
All right, I got the Bucks. He got the Falcons. Go Bob. We have the winless Cleveland Browns at the Cincinnati Bengals, the battle for Ohio. I'm going to take the Bengals.
I'm going Bengals too, man.
All right, Bengals. All right, we got an AFC South matchup here with the Tennessee Titans versus the Indianapolis Colts. I'll let you take this one first.
Colts, baby. We in this. Now, it's been a rough year, man, obviously, because, Andrew Luck's been out. Obviously, he'll probably be out for the remainder of the season. So we're not doing too well in that regard. Obviously, like I said before, you need a quarterback for an offense to be successful. Although Brissett is not bad. I think he's came a long ways. He's definitely a elite quarterback, and I'm pretty sure he'll be a starting quarterback for another team here going on next season. With that being said, man, the Titans defense, the corner secondary is pretty good. I believe Mariota is playing. He's 100% healthy. So I think I'm going to go Tennessee on this one, man, even though I hate Tennessee in the same division. But we're a little depleted on offense and as well on defense. Got things to work on. So I'm going Titans.
Yeah, usually I'm Titan down. With this, I'm going to go with the Titans as well just because they're playing the Colts, and the Colts aren't very good in any aspect. Besides Brissett, he plays well.
T.Y. Hill.
And T.Y. Hill and Doyle. Yeah, you got some good players, but they can't put it together. Hey, it is what it is, but yeah, I'm taking the Titans. We got your Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. You know what? The Chiefs came out this year and was balling. Started like 5-0, and they've been on kind of a slide since. They just picked up Darrelle Revis this past week in free agency, but I'm not sure how that will turn out for him. I'm going to go up with, I guess, will be another upset. I'm going to take the Bills over Kansas City in Kansas City. Tyrod Taylor is back at quarterback. The experiment with Perriman didn't work out last week. I think the team will rally around Tyrod, and they go on to beat the Chiefs.
I think the Chiefs, man, as high-powered offense as they were in the beginning of the year, I believe, obviously it's the NFL, and people adjust.
Besides the Cowboys, they don't adjust shit.
As the season goes on. But obviously Andy Reid's a great quarterback. A great coach. And I think he's going to adjust. I think they're going to get back to their old high-powered offensive ways. And I'm going to go Chiefs on this one.
All right, you guys are Chiefs. I got the Bills. Let's see what happens. We got the Miami Sunshine Dolphins going up to New England in the cold. I'm going to take New England.
I'm going Pats on this one, man. Tom Brady and them boys are unstoppable right now. They've been playing lights out Offense been playing lights out. They're not plagued by injuries, Gronk, obviously. And I think they're going to keep rolling. So, Patriots.
All right, Patriots. All right, we got your Chicago Bears. The Bears. Traveling over to Philadelphia, go against the Wentz wagon themselves, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, I reckon. Golly. If you know me, you know I really don't like the Eagles. But I'm going to take the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles on this one, man. They're literally unstoppable. It seems as if every team they're going against, man, they have something for them. So I don't think this game is going to be any different. I'm going Eagles.
Die, Eagles, die. We got the Seattle Seahawks going down to Cali to play the 49ers. I'm going to take Seattle in this one. Russell Wilson's playing relatively well this year. Offense don't really click that much for Seattle, so I wouldn't actually be surprised if the 49ers upset them here, but I don't see it happening. So I'm going to go Seahawks.
I don't see it happening either, man. I'm going Seahawks. 49ers have too many holes to fill.
It is going to be interesting to see the Legion of Boom, though, for the first time in a long time without Cam Chancellor or Richard Sherman, who's out for the rest of the year with a ruptured Achilles. So, but even with that, they got enough to beat the 49ers. Maybe not enough to go deep into the playoffs or make the playoffs or anything like that. But, yeah, Seattle wins this game. All right, we got your New Orleans Saints going to the West Coast, going against the LA Rams, led by my boy Jared Goff, who I told y'all would have a good year this year. I said at the beginning of the show, first episode ever. But anyway, who cares? That's just me being right. I'm going to go with the LA Rams. Saints traveling to the West Coast. They're traveling. And I just think the Rams at home, that offense, Todd Gurley is having a monster year this year. Even though the Saints defense is a lot better than it usually is. I see the Rams winning this game and going on to 8-3, and then the Saints dropping to 8-3. So let's go Rams.
I'm gonna go Saints on this one, man. I think it's not gonna be a high scoring game, but I think the Saints defense is gonna prevail. I think they're just a bit better than the Rams, although Jared Goff has been balling. I can admit that. I didn't think he was gonna be as good as he is. But I do think the Saints are the better team, has a better defense, and Drew Brees, obviously experienced guy as he is going to will them to win. So I'm going Saints.
All right, there you got it. I got your Jacksonville Jaguars, a.k.a. Saxonville. Their defense is playing great. They're going against the Arizona Cardinals this week out in Arizona. But even though they got to travel and they got to play, in the Cardinals' house there, I'm going to take Saxonville in the victory over the Cardinals.
This is my upset. This is my upset of the week right here. I'm gonna go Cardinals, man. I think they're gonna pull the upset. They had a heck of a game last week. Came up short, but had a heck of a game. I think they're gonna give them a little confidence. They're going against a good team, but I'm gonna go Cardinals for the upset.
There you go, Saxonville Cardinals.
Don't touch me, I'm champ.
Not for long, sir. Woo! All right, I'm laughing at some shit, some fat shit. Either way, we got the Broncos versus the Raiders going into the season. We always thought this would be a marquee matchup come week 11, but no, it's not. The Raiders are not playing up to what they should or what we all thought they would. I had them in the playoffs, but it doesn't look that way. The Broncos, they switched quarterbacks 3-4 times now, and they're going to Paxton Lynch this week. So with that said, I have no idea. But I'm going to go with Derek Carr and the Raiders because they're at home, and this is a rivalry game. They hate each other, so it's going to be a beat-em-up game. I'm going to take Derek Carr, throwing some bombs to Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I'm going to take Derek Carr over Paxton, man. Paxton's inexperienced. He's going against a tough linebacking core, and he's going to have a monster rushing game on every play. Yeah. And Mac. So, with that being said, I'm going to go Derek Carr.
And the Raiders.
The Raiders.
Raiders. Fat shit. All right, your Sunday night game is the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Once again, we all, at the beginning of the season, we looked at it, it's like, oh, man, that's going to be a really good matchup. And even in the middle of the season, well, all right, that's going to be a good matchup. But Aaron Rodgers is out. Aaron is out with the collarbone still. So, Brent Hundley, he's improving a little bit every week. But he thrust through a whole bunch of picks last week. And I think he'll do the same against the Steelers this week. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh over Green Bay.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's on the roll right now, man. That offense, although Juju Smith-Schuster is not playing for you fantasy guys out there, just in case you didn't know that. Although he's not playing, man, that offense is unstoppable. Obviously, they still got Antonio Brown and Martavis Bryant and
Le'Veon Bell.
They
got everybody.
They have a really good linebacking core, great middle linebacker in Shazier. And I just think it's going to be a little bit too much for the Packers without Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers there, it'd be a lot different, but he's not. So I don't think they're going to be able to hang for 4 quarters. So I'm going Steelers.
And to wrap up the football week, we started this Thursday on Thanksgiving. We got the Texans versus the Ravens on Monday night. Man, I still wish Deshaun Watson was playing because he was very exciting to watch earlier this year as a rookie. I am going to take this is a hard one too. Man. Who you got? You know what?
I'm going to go Ravens.
I'm going to go Ravens, too.
Yeah, Texans know how they're starting with quarterback. Obviously, that's big. I've been talking about it all show. And they start a quarterback that was a successful offense. They don't have any run game. The Texans don't. So they can't go to that.
All right. I'm going to say the Ravens win a low-scoring affair. I'm going to go 17-9 Baltimore.
All right. Dang. I was going probably 21-10.
21-10 Baltimore. All right, and there you go. That is your weekly picks for this week. I will be back next week as your champion. So don't worry, fans. I will have the belt back here very, very soon.
Champ.
These are the people. You're not a people's champ. People love me. Nobody likes you. You're wearing a Johnny U shirt. Whatever. Either way, we'll be back next week with weekly picks. Hopefully, again, joined by my pops, a.k.a. Old Money, a.k.a. Cold Sack Face. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the show for us. Leave your picks at the bottom of the comment box, and let's see how you match up against us. And there you go with your weekly picks. False champ. All right, and there you have it. Episode 11 is in the books. Remember to join us next week on week 12. And some exciting news for our fans out there. We now have a Facebook page. Nelson Pate Presents the Mind is the name of it, so look it up. You'll be getting, we're going to send out some friend requests here this weekend, so get ready for that. Like the page, share the page, watch the videos on that, so watch it either on there or on YouTube. Yeah, exciting episode, and we'll see you next week. And I'm about to go play some poker and win some money, so peace out.
Go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Look, I love mine. I'ma go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Then I'ma drop mic. I'ma spit a hot line, then I'll drop mic. I'm a holy feeling 9, then I'll drop mic. I'm a young AI, him I'll drop mic. Fuck it, I might have to kill him on sight. Oh man, yeah, it's on sight. We don't leave that shit to chance, bitches on sight. From a city like mine where it's on sight, you better get right. I need a fucking wife. Bad bitch, treat a nigga right. Know me like I know myself, that's the shit I like. I ain't talking about tonight, girl, I'm trying to get right, girl. Cause the money is flowing, liquor is pouring. Hoes is just hoeing and haters is holding. Pistols they gripping, wait by your whipping. Trying to catch you slipping, and damn, it's over. Side roads, I love mine. I'ma go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Look, I love mine. I'ma go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Then I'ma drop mic. I'ma spit a hot line, then I'll drop mic. I'm a holy feeling 9, then I'll drop mic. I'm a young AI, him I'll drop mic. Fuck it, I might have to kill him on sight. with these words. Yeah, you know that shit is too tight. Ain't nobody thinking about you niggas, yeah, y'all out of mind. Ain't nobody dreaming like we dream, that shit is out of sight. Bitch, we reaching for the stars. We don't attempt, we just accomplish. You deal with us, we handle monsters. We ask them questions, cause we want them answers. Tell them when you see them that we had no problem. No love lost for them pussy ass niggas. It was a coin toss, whether or not they were iffy. I don't really know how my niggas is feeling, but I'm feeling like I'ma keep my distance. Real niggas do real shit, can't explain. I've been real since birth, real shit, can't explain. That's the last name, yeah, they call me Solomon. I'm a motherfucking king the way I do my thing. Hey. Coming through your city, ho, looking with your pretty hoe. Things I do are doable, they just never do it, bro. They can't fuck with us, cause they on demand. Pussy come and go, like it's on demand. Cause the money is flowing, the liquor is pouring. Hoes is just holding and haters is holding. Pistols they gripping, wait by your whipping. Trying to catch you slipping, and damn, it's over. I love mine, I'ma go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Look, I love mine, I'ma go the extra mile, nigga, for mine. Then I'ma drop mic, I'ma spit a hot line, then I'll drop mic. I'm a holy feeling 9 on my drop mic. I'm a young AI in my drop mic. Fuck it, I might drop mic. I'ma spit a hot line and I'll drop mic. I'm a holy feeling 9 on my drop mic. I'm a young AI in my drop mic. Fuck it, I might